Okay, here's how this little project started out. I think I've probably told you before, maybe I haven't mentioned it, but the Galley sink faucet was never tightened down properly from underneath, so the base of it would swing back and forth. And the faucet itself, when you tried to swing it from one sink tub to the other, the sink was 2 tubs, it would not swing very easily. So you had to like grab the base of the thing and swing it over, and it was really obnoxious. And it was driving me nuts. And I finally was at Home Depot or Lowe's or something one day, and they had like their basic contractor grade short faucet with the pull-out knob on it and pull-out sprayer, and it was like $50. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put a new faucet on there. That thing is driving me crazy. So I bought the faucet. And silly me, I thought I'd be able to just take the old one off and put the new one on. Well, here was the problem. The sink was 2 tubs individually, and where the fitting was behind the sinks, up underneath. I can tell why it never got tightened down, because you couldn't hardly get your hand in there to work on it. So I fought it, and it was all corroded. The bolt was corroded that was on there, and it was just a nightmare. And so I finally had to rip the sinks out. And I kind of wanted to rip the sinks out anyway. I just didn't want to do them today. But I did pull the sinks out, and I wasn't very happy with the 2 tub thing. I'll just explain why. Again, I'm not a chef, but I go to put a pan in there to wash the dishes, and the sinks were this small weird size. You couldn't set a pan down in there. It always had to be at a big angle and whatever, and then it wasn't very easy to work on it. So I yanked the sink out, and now here we are. The snowball has been kicked off the top of the mountain and is rolling down, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And here we go. Let me spin you around and show you what we look like now. Alright, well, this is the edge, along the edge of the tile where that thimble rail or whatever it is was. You can see why I'm not thinking any of this has got to stay. This is so gross. That's just all the stuff that you couldn't get out of there. So yeah, it looks like what we got is a layer of fiber or a backer board, and then a thin layer of plywood underneath that. So I'm going to tear into this and see what we can do about getting that up. At least again, this section right here, so I can work on getting the sink in. And I'm probably going to get rid of these panels of this aluminum or whatever it is here, and we'll do a different backsplash arrangement on all this. So. right, well, I had the time lapse running for a bit, but that battery died, so I will just give you an update on where we are right now in the process. So we got a pretty good pile going on the countertop here. As it turns out, they glued the backer board to the plywood and then tiled over the top of that. So I've got all this whole chunk out of here now. I took my reciprocating little saw thing and cut that off. I've got my drain hose off so I can get my drain plumbing all sorted out. I've got that filter off, and I think that filter's been in there since Columbus came over. And I don't want to gross you out, but there's stuff floating around, sediment in the bottom of that. It's looking pretty gross. So it's about time for me to head off to the DIY store, and I'm going to get a piece of lumber to put down here. I'm tempted to go straight across and cut this chunk out and put one piece straight across, all across there, and then have a joint here, maybe joint here, and one piece across the back. So, and that's mostly because I can't really manage a 4x8 sheet of wood, or if I could, cut the thing to fit and just do one piece. But given that I'm up here remote and I got the Porsche and not the truck, I can't really deal with a full sheet of plywood. So I'll get some wood. I'm going to figure out my height of what I want to put on there, and then I'm going to go see if I can't get me just a replacement filter and start to sort this out. So it's coming along. The demolition part is the part that goes fast. It's putting it all back together that goes slow, and I got to go find me a bucket or something to haul my trash off. So that aluminum backing stuff is like glued to some laminate or something. This is like foil almost. I don't know what this is, but it's nasty. There's some water damage here. So these windows have been rebedded since this all had happened, but there was a leak here, and the water would come down here, the water would come down here, and the water would wind up ultimately down here, it looks like. So all that's fixed now. Everything should be nice and dry, but you can see along here there's indications of wet wood in several places. So it's good that we're probably ripping through this. It's a pain in the butt to do it, but it's probably good that we're doing it. And that's just dead space down there. Can't really use that for anything. All right, well, here we are on the Galley project so far. So what I've done is I just cut along this grout line, and I've taken out that whole top. So I've got some sections of beech plywood, I think it is, that I bought that are pre-cut in 2x4 sections. So one section will go there, one section will kind of go here, one section will kind of go here. Oh, what a mess. And one section can be my new wall here. So I got plenty of wood. It's up in the car. I need to go haul out my 2 now buckets of tile trash and throw them away, and then come back. And I think I figured out the water maker, or the water purification system. I'll explain. So apparently what you're supposed to do is read the instructions with this kind of stuff. I seem to just jump right to the, let me just figure it out on my own. But I was looking in the instructions, and you do not have to install that faucet for that Acuva water purifier, the ultraviolet water purifier. So I thought you did because it's got wires coming out of the faucet, but apparently that just turns it on if you're using the faucet, but you can wire it up without the faucet. So it includes a filter, which will replace my old nasty filter there, and then the actual purifier ultraviolet box. Those will go on this back wall down here somewhere, and or this wall over here. I've got a little bit of plumbing to do to kind of get my adapter sorted out, because the Acuva thing uses 1/4 inch press-in connectors, and that's not 1/4 inch, and it's like 3/8 or something. So I'll have to probably take that one connector off, take it over to Home Depot or Lowe's or something with me, and stand in the plumbing parts aisle like I did last night for 20 minutes trying to cobble something together. I got parts to do the drain, and I don't have any new tubing to get to my through hole there, so I've got to run over to West Marine. I'm just trying to get the point where I got all my stuff that I need lined out first so that I can just make one trip and get everything. So I am going to carry on here, but I just thought I'd give you a quick look of how it looks so far. So the tub is, or the, I don't know why I keep saying tub, the sink is going to fit nicely right in here. And I think this is all going to be okay. It's just going to be a little bit of work yet. All right, well, it's a bright sunny day today. It's a Saturday, and just in case you're losing faith that we're getting any projects done, I just thought I'd give you a quick update. So this is a roughed-in counter, not finished yet, but I was able to drop the sink in, get it all plumbed up so that I can wash dishes and cook coffee. But I'll just show you what we got. So again, this is just rough. I'll do the same thing. I'll, cut another chunk to go along here. Don't mind the mess. But I was able to hook up our Acuva water purification system. So that filter comes with it. Cold water's going in, coming out, going into the unit, coming out. That little guy right there is a flow restrictor. And then the other one's my hot water, and then obviously the big thing with the weight on it is the detachable thing that pulls out here. So we got water, we got drains. I can make coffee. All right, well, I thought I'd give you a quick update on where I'm kind of putting the Galley on hold for right now. It's workable. I can cook, I can make coffee, I can wash dishes. I have the sink in place temporarily. It is not bolted down or siliconed in place. It's just sitting here, but it's all hooked up and working. This is the brand of this sink, was this roof body. Comes with a cutting board, a strainer over here so you can kind of, what I've been doing is moving the cutting board out of the way, and as I'm washing my dishes, I'm setting them up here. I also have just a drying thing right there, but most of the time. I've still got my LPG control back there for turning on and off the LP gas, and just a mess right now with my Hue lighting. I'll fix all that up, clean that up when we're done. But I have now put roughed in plywood, and I think I said beech before, it's birch, I think, plywood. So I wound up buying about 4 of these pre-cut 2x4 chunks, and I've used all 4 of them. I have enough left to cover this in right here, but I did order an Induction cooktop, and I ordered a new microwave. Those are not going to be here for a few days, so, well, actually a week or so, I think. So I'm probably not going to get much more done on this right now, but I am workable and serviceable. I can cook and clean. I can still use the stove. I've just got it, I've undone it all, but it's sitting in here. I can still use it. So we're functional, and we're going to have to stay at this shape for a little bit. I do want to show you back here in this corner, this lid was set into the old countertop right here. And I wasn't really sure what that was for. I kind of peeked in there a little bit, but hadn't really paid much attention to it. There's a section of this that's all boxed in and has a false floor under it down there at about, it's 8 or 10 inches tall. So this is a storage chunk, trying to use some of this dead space back here. So I'll probably go ahead and keep this and cut in a new top for it, or I'll keep this at least as my pattern. I might wind up making one out of whatever we put in here to make it match better. But just want to explain that there is a spot back in there where you could, you could store a bunch of dry food or whatever back there. So we're pretty functional right now. I don't have the power hooked up yet to that. Trying to get the sun out of my face here. I don't have the power wired yet to that Acuva ultraviolet filter. It's all plumbed in there. The water's going through it. I do have a cable a piece of cable roughed in. I've got my new box. I just have to wire it up, and then we can turn that on and have purified water. So that's good, but we're at about the point where we're going to have to just leave this thing for now until my next round of parts gets here, the microwave and the cooktop. So the cooktop, I do already have an outlet wired for it here, so I'm kind of wondering if maybe there wasn't some kind of a different cooktop there in the beginning. But so theoretically, all I should have to do is kind of cut in the countertop and drop it in there. It's going to wind up being a little bit wider than our stove top, I think. So that's why I haven't bothered to close this in yet. But I do have enough lumber to do that. So there we go. We're at a pretty good stopping point. We are functional, and just waiting to figure out what we're going to do with the countertop and the actual material for the countertop and the material for the kind of backsplash area here. So we'll do all of this all the way around with some tile backslash or whatever. The section back here, I have not taken down that laminate that was up there, that tin or aluminum or stainless steel foil or whatever was glued to. So I probably need to peel that down and get to the wood behind it. But other than that, everything, all the demo work is done. So this is where we're going to leave this until the next round of parts show up. So our galley project was supposed to be on hold today because something happened with the delivery on the cooktop and wasn't going to show up. I didn't think the microwave was coming in either, so we are up here in Anacortes, walking on the Loop Road Sunset Beach Park, which is one of my favorite places that I've found up here so far. And we just got the notification that we got a delivery to pick up, so we'll do this hike. We'll head back. I think this is the microwave that got here, so we'll carry on with the galley project now. But it's a pretty nice day up here. I'll give you a look out over the water. All right, well, you saw us cut our leisure day a little bit short yesterday because we got notification that there was a big package at the dockside mail for us. So I'll spin you around, show you the evidence of what happened. So here we go. Our new oven is here. So this one is coming out, and I'm going to set you up, let you watch me kind of figure this all out. One good thing about this is, we can tell that we've got power to this, and there's a switch dedicated to the microwave over here in the switch panel, so I know I can get it shut off properly, and then figure out how to get it out of there. All right, well, it wouldn't be a boat job if it didn't have some unexpected wrinkle and or challenge associated with it, correct? So here's the deal. You saw that the old bracket that was in here holding the old microwave bolted to the wall here and had some arms come out here that the thing kind of slid into, and it hung, all the weight hung off of the back here. And then there was just two little screws on the sides to hold it in place. This one, the new one, is going to have a mounting bracket across the back here to hold kind of the back lip. And then up top, there's supposed to be, the assumption is that you're going into a space where you've got a cabinet base here, and you can open the cabinet and put bolts down through the floor of the cabinet to support the top. So I'm going to have to do a little figuring to figure out what we're going to do about that. We do have ductwork in here to externally duct this thing out. There's a vent on the side of the boat over there, so that's good. And it looks like we have a piece of wire run here, perhaps in anticipation of maybe needing a fan in that outlet to, you know, suck that air out instead of letting the fan of the microwave drive it. We'll leave that there for now, and I'm not sure we're going to need to worry about that, but I am going to have to figure out something to put in here. I think it would be easy enough to probably go get me a stretch of some hard, thick wood and mount it in here with 90-degree brackets to get my thing to hang from. The only question is then, how do I get into here to hook it up? And my guess is maybe we'll come down from the top up here, because that would be up on our lip up here. And I'll just show you there's no openings there now. But if I had to put an opening in there, that might not be so bad, and it would be then something we could cover up, put a little door on, etc. So that's probably what I'll wind up doing. But I got a little planning to do before we get to that point. So my my induction cooktop is out for delivery today too. The site that I got all this stuff from, when I was trying to put in, when you're shipping stuff to the little dockside mail that I use for my packages, you have to put in their street address and then a suite number, and the suite number kept getting dropped off of all these delivery addresses. The drivers didn't know where to send it. The microwave actually came on a LTL, a less than load truck delivery service, so they had to call me, get the suite number. FedEx tried to deliver the package, couldn't figure out the suite number, so they took it back. They called me, I had to give them the suite number. I put the suite number in when I was putting an order in, but it didn't obviously translate across. So the induction cooktop anyway is going to show up today as well. So it might be a good idea to get this in first so we don't wind up dropping something on that cooktop. I'll obviously finish this up. But again, here I've got a piece of red oak, right? So I've got this piece of, it's 3/4 by 3.5 red oak. And again, I think this will probably work just fine if I cut this to length and put it inside of here and put some 90-degree brackets to support it. But then again, I just got to be able to get in from the top to put my bolts down through there. So a little bit of work to do, but this shouldn't be too big of a mountain to climb today. It's one of those days when it's a good day to be working inside. Actually, it looks like it's starting to burn off, but it was really foggy when we woke up this morning. First thing I heard, well, not the first thing I heard, the dog had a outside emergency at 5:18 this morning. We had to get up and take the dog out, so that was unpleasant. But then came back and dove right back in bed. Then I woke up later to the sound of foghorns, which I just love the sound of foghorns. So anyway, but the fog has mostly burned off, it looks like. So people are moving around as usual out there now. But anyway, I'll carry on. I'm not going to film too much of this as I'm poking around, figuring out lengths of pieces of wood and all that kind of stuff. I'll come back to that when I've got something more to show you. And we'll see. I mean, I'll show you what I've got here. Again, my concern is just getting something that's going to be plenty strong enough to hold all this, and making sure we do this well. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, well, we got the microwave hung up here. Went all right. It was a little difficult, and I did have to cut an opening in the top here so that I could get in and plug my cable in and put my bolts down. There's some bolts that go down, 3 of them, through the top to suspend the thing. So it sits on a plate across the back of the wall there, and then, like I said, there's 3 bolts there. So I put some red oak across like this with 90-degree brackets on the back facing down and facing up on the front. I pulled on them really hard. They're pretty stout. I feel pretty good. I think we're going to be fine here. So microwave's in. Next order of business is we're going to take this stove out and start to prepare our last piece of plywood for our cooktop here, which is hiding out underneath here. A quick note, I have cooked on the cooktop with it just sitting on the countertop before I did anything. I wanted to make sure that the inverter was going to hold up, and oh yeah, it was fine for the way I cook. Now again, I said it before, I'll repeat myself, I'm not a chef, so most of the time my cooking's kind of like a small pan cooking for one. If I've got to cook some humongous pot of spaghetti, I might have an issue, but it looks like everything's going to be fine with that. So I think we're safe to proceed with taking this out and cutting in the cooktop, and that will get us to the point where we can go back up top up there and pull out that other propane tank and the bracket and the mounting material and all that for the propane, and start to kind of tidy up there, because we're all done with the radar install. We just haven't put everything back under the front of the helm there because I wanted to finish up and get that propane out of there and put that board or that foam stuff down that I got. So anyway, continuing on with the process here. Well, it is getting to that time of day when I must actually turn my attention to other projects, but thought I'd give you a quick wrap up, just kind of show you where we're at here. So the microwave is in, the cooktop has been dropped in. I've got the new piece of lumber cut out for it here. I've got no power to that outlet, which is weird, but I'll track that down. I've got to clean this up quite a bit, and I'm going to replace a piece of plywood here because this was kind of like a false wall, and then there's a drawer that goes down here, so the drawer is going to remain, but all this section right up in here will be open. And what I'm thinking is maybe dropping a shelf in about here to kind of close this in, you know, so stuff's not banging up against my fans on the bottom of my cooktop. And then the rest of this area, I'm going to see if I'm clever enough to build me some places to lay some wine bottles down in here. So we'll see how that goes. But just wanted to give you a quick update because I'm wrapping this up for today. So everything went okay. It says that you're not supposed to really glue down the top or whatever. Just says put some butyl tape under there. I'm obviously going to put some kind of a countertop on up here, so not going to do anything with it right now. But I've got some other sections of lumber, like there was no piece of lumber across here because this is where the stove was. So I'm going to put in a piece of, I bought some, I think it's 2x2 red oak. I'll put a piece in there so that'll be nice and stout. And then start to work on my shelves a little bit. So there we have it. I just got to figure out the power issue, which again shouldn't be. I checked all the breakers that I think it could be, or they're on, and that outlet right there works, but the cable for this one's going straight down into the bilge area, so I have to get down there and look around, see where it's going, see if it maybe is disconnected or something. But there we have it.